Hello and welcome back, my flock. The Bad Raven here, in the future Bad Raven's nest. This is the room I've been working on, so I decided to do a video in here instead of in my usual, the old version of the Bad Raven's nest. So we're just kind of playing it by ear with this review. But why am I here today? Why am I not doing a before and after of this movie that I'm reviewing today that you saw in the description? I went and watched it with my family members. I didn't go see it with Drew Drops. So I didn't have a chance to do a before and after because he wasn't there. He has not seen the movie, and I went and seen it with them. I hadn't planned on watching the movie, actually, even though I am a Indiana Jones fan. I might not be a super fan, but I am a fan of his other movies. So I decided to watch it with them, and I was just going to do a basic review of what I thought of Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. I went and watched this, and like I said, I wasn't really excited. My family was more excited than me to watch it. I love action and love Harrison Ford in action movies like Indiana Jones. I like the first one, the Raiders of the Lost Ark, the best. Temple of Doom second, of course, and the third one, which was called Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Those three are the three I look at as a trilogy, the true trilogy of Indiana Jones. Anybody says, well, what about Crystal Skull? I'm getting to that. Crystal Skull wasn't the greatest. It wasn't the top notch. It felt like more of a cash grab for me to get in the final bit of money they could from the franchise, so it stays in the fourth place in my book. And then you have this one in the new rankings too. This one, The Dial of Destiny, is another rehash of Indiana Jones, and I think it is to squeeze out whatever they could of the last bit of money out of the franchise before they end up totally disbanding it or giving it to somebody else or whatever, or rebooting, whatever be the case. So I went into this very, very skeptical, of course. I had good reason to, because I felt like it was a hodgepodge of several cooks. Like if you think of a chef, there's the director, and I think James Mango directed this, and he had his hands full, I would assume, to follow Steven Spielberg. And I think Steven Spielberg did the right thing is not to direct this one. I don't know if he saw the writing on the wall or just figured he'd done all he could with the character and the storylines. I do believe Spielberg is a executive producer. I think even George Lucas is also. So they handed over the reins of the directing of this movie to James Mango. I don't want to totally destroy the movie. I'm not saying it isn't a decent, I'll say decent, and say good, but a decent action movie if it wasn't Indiana Jones. I think Indiana Jones was more of a set piece of what they were trying to do. I felt like a very poor imitation of the first three movies. I felt like it was a one and done type story. I don't even think the story itself led itself to me to be anything great. I don't want to spoil anything. I think a lot of people have probably seen a lot of the trailers.
I miss the desert. I miss the sea. And I miss waking up every morning, wondering what wonderful adventure the new day will bring to us.
Those days have come and gone.
Perhaps not.
I don't believe in magic. But a few times in my life, I've seen things I can't explain. And I've come to believe it's not so much what you believe heart you believe it.
Who is this man?
I'm her godfather.
Related.
Get back!
I just want to say that it goes to the usual haunts of the Nazis, and I did like the de-aging and stuff they did on him at the very beginning of the movie, and that was in the trailers. I don't feel like I'm giving anything away with Harrison Ford. And they did have, it was very dark in my theater, and the scenes when he was de-aged, I don't know if they were trying to cover up flaws in it, and it wasn't perfect. Like when he got up on a train in one part, it looked like a PlayStation 2 type character running on top of there, not an actual person. I don't know if that was part of all the stuff that's been going on about the special effects and of Marvel movies and Lucasfilm and all them having troubles getting in through the deadline, or it may be because they kept changing a lot of stuff in it, which makes it harder for those types of artists to do CGI and stuff if you're constantly changing. Then they have a limit of getting everything done on time. But all in all, the de-aging looked okay, 50-50, I'd say. And Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones, I always love his performance of Indiana Jones. I think I have no qualms with his performance in the movie. I think a lot of the actors did the best they could with what they had to work with, but I just think it was same old, and the story felt like they were trying really hard to get a story together to be able to do this, like with the Dial of Destiny being the next Ark of the Covenant, or the Cup of Christ, and the third one, and the Lorax and the Temple of Doom. Felt like they were really pushing to try to find a tie-in with him, and now go into the other actress in the movie, Phoebe Waller-Bridge played Helena Shaw, and there's been a lot of press about her in this movie. Not all good, of course, and I'm not saying she's not a great actress. She did fine with her part. Was she cocky and everything in it? Yeah, but that was her character. I don't think that was anything that she brought to the role. I think that's what they wanted for him to do. But it wasn't as disrespectful to Indy as I thought it was going to be, because he's an old man in this movie. He's like in his 80s. He's retiring. And she just states obvious things that he, did, and probably in a sarcastic way, but that didn't really deter me. I just felt like her character, the goddaughter, was very, I don't know why they decided to go with a goddaughter angle. I mean, it felt like they were pushing it to get her involved in how she was, Indy, nothing ever said in the other movies of having a goddaughter. But, of course, sequels, they seem to do that. They'll just throw in a character. And I felt like they could have used Mutt from Kingdom of the Crystal Skull to kind of come in there and be that character that she was. I think they could have tied it in a lot better with Indiana Jones and his son than her. And then people say, well, you just don't like women. It's just women are not that great character to you. No, it's not that. I love it. I mean, I love having strong women characters. I love women in movies. I loved all the women in the other Indiana Jones movie. Marion and Kate Capshaw in the second one. They all have great parts to play in this one. I just felt like they tried to make a stance with this one and it didn't pay off. I did not like the ending of this movie whatsoever. Not just the big reveal of the Dial of Destiny and what it does. Something she does to Indy at the very end of the movie was very, not Indiana Jones like, I guess you could say. And I felt like they gave reasons why she was able to do it to make it believable. this little skinny woman was not going to be able to do this, I don't think. And you'll understand if you watch the movie. It was way too long. It was 2 hours and I think like a half long, and it never really caught fire to me. They had some chase scenes in little like carts in this one town against a regular car, but it was like, you know, alleyways and stuff, and that went on way too long. Very unbelievable to me. I understand it's Indiana Jones and all stuff is unbelievable. But I didn't care for that. I did like the young boy in this. It kind of remind me of an older Short Round from the Temple of Doom. He did a good job playing off Phoebe Waller-Bridge, and their characters are together, and they have a good chemistry as far as their thing. They might should have made a movie about them and not called it Indiana Jones. Called it something else with she had adventures with this young boy, and not even had Harrison Ford's Indiana Jones involved in it. It might have been a lot better. But in this context, I think it was not quite good. My family members liked it. They did, and at the very end of it, it has a sequence that I thought was very well done and very touching. So I'll just leave it at that because I can't say much about it if you want to go watch it. And that made me want to like the entire movie because of that one scene, but it's just one scene. It's not several scenes throughout the movie. Just a bunch of okay scenes and setups and that good scene at the very, very, very end of the movie. But I think they could have had that with the Mutt character as his, and they could even passed on the Indiana Jones fedora and all that kind of stuff to him, and been able to make a new batch of movies with him. But they decided to go this route, and I feel like it wasn't a good route to take. And one thing I definitely don't understand, nobody was screaming for a Indiana Jones movie. I told Drew drop this. It's different if it was like people were just dying, chomping at the bit to get a final, definitive Indiana Jones movie, and this was going to be it. And even at that, it failed. It failed miserably with that. It just pretty much put a lackluster story out there with actors trying their best, director trying his best, and it just did not have the spark with Spielberg not even in it to, as far as direct it and give his style. It didn't have that style whatsoever, and that was a big letdown for me. When people say, well, you didn't like the Crystal Skull, and he was a director, I understand that, but even he had trouble getting it right, and he is one of the creators of Indiana Jones. So I just would have to say, if I was rating this, which I am, I would say just wait for streaming, because it's going to be on there quick enough. How movies are like maybe 3 months, if you're lucky, 45 days before they're on some kind of digital format. I would wait for that. I hate saying that with a lot of action movies I love to see on the big screen. That's up to you if you want to pay your hard-earned dollars for that. I don't think it's good enough for that. I saw it and I didn't get to use my movie pass because it wouldn't load, and so I had to pay the money, but I just felt like it's just okay. And an Indiana Jones movie that's just okay is not good. Indiana Jones movies are supposed to be big events, and this felt like a very big letdown. I guess that's all I have to say about this movie. Please leave your comments down there. Disagree with me if you want to in the comments. I have no problems defending my thoughts on it. I hope that the series is done for good. I heard Harrison Ford doesn't want to do anymore. Hopefully this is the last we'll see, and it doesn't need any more people trying to take over for it unless it's a totally different reboot. So I just want to say thank you all for watching the video and checking out this video from the Badraven. Check out the merchandise. We got shirts and cups and all kinds of different things, stickers, magnets, anything you want. Check out the TeePublic store, and you would greatly help the channel out if you want to buy something. If you don't, that's fine too. We just appreciate everybody liking and sharing and subscribing this with their friends on all the social media sites. Remember that the Badraven is your friend. So I just want to say thank you, and we're going to let you go. We'll talk at you later, and goodbye.